Good evening, fam. It's another edition of Cody Cox Presents. This week, it's a little different. Went out and I got a whole group of folks for y'all. And it's a musical group, but I'll let them explain a little more about themselves and what they do. Joining me on Cody Cox Presents this week, it's Saul2Paul, and it features Miss AnDraea Williams on vocals and keys, Keith Williams on lead guitar, Trevail Stokes and Nicole McFadden on vocals, Chris Daddy Grimes, make sure I got it right, Chris Daddy Grimes, Phelps, Lewis, Cat Daddy Brandon, and Temari Thompson on drums, and Bryan Lewis on keys. Everybody, welcome Saul2Paul. I just want to get right into it, you all. Thank you so much for taking the time. They were at rehearsal, you all, so they took a little time out to talk to us, to share what they do, what they're about. And when you all get a chance, after you hear this interview, you'll definitely want to go catch them when you can, primarily in Maryland, D.C. area. AnDraea, I'll start out with you. Tell us, what is Saul2Paul? Where did even the concept even come from for a name of a musical group? And also tell us what type of music we're talking about. And that's key to the whole conversation. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a great question. We started over 10 years ago. Saul2Paul was born out of the first CD project that I did. It was a solo project back in 2006. And the name Saul2Paul is just a reference to the story of Saul in the Bible when he was on the road to Damascus and he saw a light from heaven, and Christ said to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And from then on, he started a ministry of sharing the gospel with the Gentiles. And so his name was changed to Paul. Not really changed, but he had a Jewish name and a Gentile name. So the idea with Saul2Paul is that we've all had an encounter with Christ, and our lives have been changed, and our identities have been changed. And we identify with Christ now. And our goal is just to use our music to share the good news of Christ with everybody, brothers and sisters in Christ, people who don't know the Lord, everybody.
So what would you qualify your music as? Gospel. I heard it and go play it. So it's gospel soul. It got a little neo soul. Some folks even in the area say it got a little go-go feel to it.
Yeah.
What would you all qualify it as?
Yeah, we have a lot of different influences, but I think the label that nails it down is gospel soul. And you will get the neo soul feel, definitely the R&B feel. A little go-go, definitely got some rock and pop. I mean, just a lot of different influences, but I think gospel soul really sums it up, not only because of the feel of the music, but because of the message as well.
Well, how did you pull the band together? I mean, you had the concept, and I guess it's you and Keith. I'm sorry, wave Keith so people know that you're back there. There you go. So Keith and AnDraea is a husband and wife group. How did you all pull the rest of the group together or sell them on this idea of doing a gospel soul group?
Well, that's a very interesting story because the band came together before Keith and I even met.
Oh, and okay.
I've always had to credit the band coming together to Chris. And Chris is like my co-director, co-founder, and I really credit him with being like the coach of the group because he's really good at identifying people's gifts and pulling people together. And I'll let him speak for himself on that point. But as far as bringing the group together, I think that God put the vision in my heart. But as far as the boots on the ground, he used Chris to pull the troops together. You want to say something about that?
Sure. I'll be really quick. I look at it like this. She wanted to do her project. She was working with a couple different producers. Wasn't quite getting things done. And I just believed in her. We go back a long ways, but I believed in her and what she was doing. I said, look, I'll back you up. And pretty much I was like, just you ready? I'll be the muscle behind it. And that's pretty much how it started. And from that point, it put me in a spot where I was getting the personnel together. And we God bless us with the right pieces.
Yeah.
At this time, at this moment.
But the other pieces, you all knew each other from working in other bands or just from school, or how did you all pull together?
Big deep.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to childhood.
Seriously, because Trevail and I go back to
ways, so we'll know who you are today.
Like, we've known each other since second grade, and we've been singing together since high school. Keith and I met at this record store called CD Depot. It's no longer open.
I remember CD Depot, yeah.
Right. So when I met him, I was like, oh my goodness, you're a guitarist. Like, our band could really use a guitarist. So here we are 10 years later, and we got our amazing guitarist, but I also got my husband and 2 kids to go with it. So, but that's just that, like, do y'all want to chime in? Like, because we're all connected in different ways.
Okay. So, that's cool.
Yeah.
Chris brought me to the band.
Sure.
How do y'all know each other?
Well, one of my good girlfriends said, my girlfriend sings. She could really sing. I said, really? Nika, really? We got information, and I was at work. I was working at Largo High School at the time, and I remember I was talking to her on her way to work. And I said, can you sing something for me? She's like, right now? I said, yeah. She sang, and I immediately I said, yes. I didn't have. I said, wait till AnDraea hears it, and I just knew it. I knew it, and it's been right since. So that's pretty much the really cut and dry story on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hey, what about Lewis, since he's right next to Nick?
Yeah.
Man, come on, man. No, you won't talk me. Nah, we not doing that.
I'm shy.
Anyway.
I came to the group. I'm probably one of the latest members to the group. Chris brought me, and we played together in church, and basically he said, come hang out with us. Been hanging out with him ever since.
Okay, it's cool. So, AnDraea, back to you. So let's talk more about the concept of the group and the type of songs you all do. I know one of the big pushes is to perhaps take the traditional gospel sound away from the church to really, like you spoke on before, kind of introducing those who may not normally listen to a gospel cut, but might hear a nice groove from y'all and be like, they on to something. What is it about what you do and the type of music you do you think specifically separates you from the pack?
That's a really good question. Yeah, they're giving me that one because they know.
No, I was going to answer that.
You can. I'll
Please
give a
do.
part A.
Please do. Anybody can jump in.
Okay. And see, I'll just give my perspective. I think it's because I think God put together such a unique group of people. We all have different musical backgrounds. Some of us have traditional gospel backgrounds. Some of us have soul R&B backgrounds. You know that my background is classical music. So there's a lot of different stylistic backgrounds that we come from. There are a lot of walks of life that we come from. Most of us come from some sort of religious tradition, or in my case, I no longer have a religious tradition. I just follow Christ. I'm not part of traditional religion. I think that our lifestyles kind of dictate the musical style, and I think that sets us apart. And honestly, although I've grown up on traditional gospel and I've always loved it, what I really am is an R&B soul pop singer, songwriter. That's just what I am. And coming to Christ and writing music to him just out of my heart, it just comes out that way. That's my perspective. You want to add to that?
Well, to add to that, and just like you said it, I'm taking this from a lot of different people's point of view that's come to myself or the group in itself. What I've found out is that there's a connection with the people that we have where it's authentic. They understand where we're coming from because we were once there. So they can feel what we're writing and what we're singing about. And not being funny, we're really down to earth. We have no cards within this group. Very honest about who we are, what we do. We don't have a shame to go into the pit. And we'll set up shop where you might have no knocks on other groups. They kind of avoid that. They get a little too churchy for you. They don't want to go there. A lot of times, just by the people's reaction, they tend to gravitate to the realness of, I guess, what they feel we bring. What I know what we are, but they get it.
Okay.
And, very authentic.
One more thing I wanted to add too, since you brought that up, the reason why I think that we're authentic is because we work collaboratively. So whereas some groups you have like the group leader, he or she will bring their music in their arrangements and just teach it to the group learns it, and the group performs it. Well, in this group, everybody collaborates. I might write some music, Chris might write some music, wow. B writes music. Did y'all get a shot of Bryan? Wave, Bryan.
I can chime in a little bit.
Okay.
Anytime. Go ahead. Gotta unmute. Make sure Trevail unmutes that phone over there.
And Temari too. I'll let them talk because they didn't get the chance to talk. But
go ahead.
Yeah, you guys jump in if y'all want to comment on that.
Oh yeah, I just want to say that
I can.
When it comes to Saul2Paul, what I know is that we relate to a lot of people, and that's what sets us aside. That we relate to the matters of the heart.
Yeah.
So often people think that they're the only ones that go through a certain situation. So you have many people going through the same thing. And when people actually get a breakthrough is that what we sing about, not only do we address the situation, but God also has given us a way out. So if we didn't go through anything, we wouldn't be able to relate. So what makes us, you know, what people are gravitating to now is that they understand because we have something in common. And even with bringing the delivery of the music, it's not surface. You know, we got deep issues, deep situation, deep answers. So we cut through what other people don't. A lot of people are interested in what, hey God, what can you do for me? Singing about, hey God, what can you? No, with us it's about, hey God, what can we do? Yeah. That's what relationship is. And when you got true relationship, you know, it's undeniable. It can't be questioned. It can't be hindered.
I cannot touch that. I gotta sit on that right there. I don't want to say nothing else. That wraps it right there, brother. I appreciate that. So what I mean, that is really in a nutshell, and I totally get it. And I think what you said is that you reach people who probably wouldn't normally catch that, you know, in the setting that maybe you in, whether it's at a festival, whether it's at a club, whether it's, you know, in a different mix of other bands. It's not just all a gospel show. I think that is a plus as well. But we're going to move on because I really don't want to touch that. I think he hit it in a nutshell, knocked it out of the park right there. So I know that you all primarily are in the DC metropolitan area. Do you travel from time to time?
But we're definitely open to the opportunity to travel. Most of us are working full time, but the commitment to this group is almost like a second full-time job because it's just, we want the music to be right and we want it to be good for our listeners. So, and each of us have had different performance opportunities separate from the group. So everybody here is experienced and traveled in different ways and in different arenas. At Saul2Paul, we mostly stay local, but we're always open for those opportunities.
Where are you all playing? What's some of your upcoming gigs within the next few months?
We are open to bookings right now. Like we've had a really light year. We've been focusing on recording, writing music together, jamming, and just putting together plans to do a new project. So we're pretty much open. We're open.
Where can we get your previous project, and where can we get your upcoming work?
Oh, absolutely. So our previous work, we did like an EP type project, and it's been released on iTunes, CD Baby, Spotify, Tidal, all digital outlets. And all you have to do is like Google Saul2Paul Project, or you can go to our website, www.Saul2PaulProject.com. And you can download our music from there, or go to the links where you can download it on your preferred device or server. And you can view our videos too. And we have YouTube links where you can watch and just, you know, evaluate, see if you want to hear some more. And I think that the listeners will really like it. In the future, we will probably release through some of those same outlets. But we're just looking forward to putting this project together. We're going to put together a longer project because we have a lot of music. So we're going to take our time and really put together a bigger project. The last project that we released in 2016 was just to give the listeners a taste of what we can do. So we're looking forward to doing a really large scale project and releasing that for everyone.
Okay. It'll be On the screen, you will see the Saul2Paul Project. Make sure you go check them out on their website. Thank you all so much for your time. I know you all got to get back to rehearsing. I didn't want to hold you up, but I knew I had to grab you when I got you. So I appreciate you all giving me the time and sharing your story. And we will continue to broadcast and push this up and get you all out there. I really appreciate your time again.
Thank you so much for having us, Cody.
Not a problem. You are listening to and watching Cody Cox Presents. It's a product of Cody Cox Media. Till next time, you all.